No sabés cómo están las mamás de colegio. Ni y entonces yo le dije, mandá a los chicos
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, having a look at Bitcoin right here, we did have this crazy dip all the way down to about $16,244. We have bounced off of that, and what's very interesting right now is if we literally just put a plot exactly where this Bitcoin price action is, you can actually see that what we're trying to do is break this area, which acted as resistance, then it acted as support, and now it's acting as that resistance again, and we're attempting to have that breakthrough. Also, as I've been pointing out, guys, we only have about 3 weeks, maybe a month maximum, until Bitcoin reaches the end of this wedge pattern, and we're looking for a huge move, either potentially all the way back up to 20,000, or we could even come as low as $12,000. So the next month is going to be very, very crazy for Bitcoin specifically, but I wanted to talk about something that we're seeing right now that we haven't actually seen ever really before in a Bitcoin bear market. And this is sending me some very interesting signals. What it's telling me is that the game is changing. And on top of that, on the flip side, people are beginning to actually wake up. What do I mean by that? That's what we're going to talk about today, guys. Also, really crazy news, Paxful chose to delist Ethereum, claiming that they're doing it for integrity. And also Coinbase released their 2023 crypto outlook. So we will discuss that as well. And finally, the Bahamas press. Now, I don't know if this is real or not. Can anyone verify this? I didn't take the time to verify this. They said scores of police vehicles outside the doctor's hospital off Shirley Street, where we're learning that FTX founder SBF has rushed into the ER following an incident. BP teams are live outside the doctor's hospital and will update further as details become available. So I don't know if this is fake news or not. I just saw this morning. I didn't care enough to look into it. Someone please tell me. Is this real? Is this fake? Is Sam in the hospital? Is it a conspiracy? So with that being said, if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Let's dive in. Let's make today's video nice and super quick and sweet. Let's start with the Bitcoin chart. So what we see right here is that we did actually have a bounce off of this heart line right here, this center area. You can actually see that we came down here and then we did in fact bounce off of it. Now, I still do think that even minimally, we have a potential chance of targeting up here at the top of this channel before, we might actually go back to the downside. So that's about a 3% move. If you are trading, doing something like 10x, I don't know, that's about 30%. If you guys want to learn how to trade, check out the tutorial, $56,000 in bonuses below. But the reason that I still think we should have at least one more test is at least minimally just to verify that this area is in fact rejection. Because you can see right here, we fell straight through it. There was no validation in this move at all, right? We basically, okay, we had this slight touch on the upwards trend, but basically outside of that, there was nothing here. There was nothing here really until, this area right here. And currently we're trying to break above it, but I still think that we could potentially see Bitcoin actually come all the way back up to around 17,500. And I did say this area, but I'm actually looking at this area because it's the top of this triangle, right? It was this area right here. So personally, if we don't get that high, then we're probably going to just test one more to this wick low, which is around $17,200. So that's what I'm looking at. In other words, in a nutshell, I am at least minimally expecting one more, even if it's a smaller move to the upside. First target 17.2, next target 17.540, and then if we get rejected, if we get rejected after that, okay, then maybe we do come back down. I just think that, falling, consolidating, and falling back down again would be a little bit strange. Also, just to point out, considering the fact that, this is the day that we're seeing on the S&P. I mean, we're seeing this candle happen today on the S&P, and then, of course, we go back to Bitcoin, and, we're not really seeing anything. And as I did say, once again, we're coming to the end of this channel. So something to just pay attention to. Now, actually, talking about the S&P, this was just side note, something interesting that Nunya Business pointed out. He said, if you look at the S&P 12-month candles since 1940, there's only ever been 4 years that have had a worse performance. So the question is, is the bottom in? or is the bottom not in? So, really, if you look historically, dating all the way back to 1942, for the most part, there's only, like you said, been 4 years since then that have been worse than what we've experienced. So the question is, could we actually be close to that bottom? I mean, we're seeing the DXY, actually, literally in this perfect falling channel right here. It's not a falling wedge, it's a parallel channel. And you could see that this downward support, right, that was holding us right here, has now flipped and acted as the resistance that we can't get above. So it does look like the dollar is definitely falling. I mean, this is the biggest move down that we've seen for quite some time. I mean, the dollar basically was just going parabolic starting back here since June of last year. And, this is a pretty big correction. So it's not to say we couldn't see another bounce up or something like that. I just think personally that the dollar is starting to now move to the downside. Now, let's talk about why that there is something we've never really seen before. And I think this is really important to pay attention to. So On-Chain College pointed out that over 4.1 million addresses hold at least 0.1 Bitcoin. This is a new all-time high. We're seeing the steepest 30-day increase in this metric since the 2017 peak. And actually, I do want to point out what Arcad said down here. He said this doesn't look like a normal bear market. One explanation would be that the demise of FTX killed the paper Bitcoin market, which would mean the price has been suppressed tremendously in the past couple of years. And I actually agree with this. I actually truthfully agree with this. I think the reason that we did see, that rounded top this time and we didn't see the blow off top like we normally see is because of things that these big players, specifically FTX, was doing. And I know that there is a lot of information that even I don't have. I know BitBoy and his crew, they have a lot of information on how pretty much FTX was behind most, if not all, of the major collapses that we saw. And I wouldn't be surprised if the reason that we did not see that $90,000 or $100,000 Bitcoin is because of this suppression of dumping on markets, right? We know that they were doing that, right? But getting back to what I was saying, that's a little bit of a tangent. I really didn't mean to go down that route. I was just thinking out loud. But like Will Clemente pointed out, the percentage of Bitcoin supply held by retail has soared to 17% this year. Not perfect yet, but solid for a 12-year-old asset and definitely trending in the right direction. Bitcoin's supply disperses over time, while fiat's holder base concentrates to whales over time. So why is this significant? Why does this matter? Because everybody says, oh, retail is stupid. Retail's the stupid money, right? For the first time ever, we're seeing, okay, stupid money, whatever you want to call it, but retail is actually buying and accumulating in a deep bear market. We didn't see this previously. When we would have a bear market, you would see everybody run for the hills. There would only be a handful of people dollar cost averaging and buying. It would be nothing but doom and gloom in the comments. Bitcoin is dead. It's going to zero. Nobody wanted to touch it. Nobody wanted to talk about it. And even though times feel that way now, especially if this is your first bear market, you might think that this is the worst. But to be honest with you, this is showing that the average person, the retail investor, is waking up to the potential of Bitcoin, understanding the long-term value and accumulating at these levels. Don't listen to the FUD. Don't listen to what the media says. Don't even listen to me, honestly. Make your own educated decisions. But I can tell you guys that when this does have the reversal, and it will have the reversal, we have the halving in 2024, we're probably going to hit a new all-time high by 2025. And honestly, by 2024, I think we could easily be back at the previous all-time high, meaning, everyone's like, oh, not a new all-time high till 2025. Yeah, but I'm talking literally, we're basically in 2023, right? So you have about a year and a half to 2 years before we get back to 70. And then another year before we get, 120, 150. We had a target of 160. But my point is this time the game has changed and people are waking up. And I take this as bullish. Some people say, oh, it's bearish because stupid retail is piling in. No, I don't think stupid retail is piling in. Stupid retail was piling in at the all-time high when, Shiba Inu and dog coins and all these other things, no disrespect to anyone who, if you're holding that, whatever, not really my cup of tea. But, that was stupid money. This is smart money, in my opinion. Buying a 70%, 80% dip, that's a smart idea, especially when you understand and, believe in the Bitcoin adoption curve, which is really interesting because Vitalik Buterin was kind of talking about the maxis. And he was saying several projects have been targets of the maximalists, criticizing and calling them distractions and scams. The movement started by Bitcoin maxis has helped the premier crypto's adoption to an extent, but that same strategy might not be helpful for further growth, right? So he says that a community having a very high variance, high excitement, and high turn off approach to existing is a very good strategy when you're trying to increase adoption from 0.1% to, let's say, 10%. But it's a terrible strategy if you're going to increase adoption from 10% to 70%. Crypto is no longer in the stage of going from 0.1% to 10%. The space is at a level where they're trying to get from 10% to 70%. And that requires different strategies. But it's funny how even people like Donald Trump, this was in 2019, okay? He said, I remember the day he tweeted this, I am not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. Unregulated crypto assets can facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and other illegal activity. And then what does he do? He literally launches his own NFT collection. So it's crazy to see the shift. It's kind of like the first they fight you, then they join you. You guys know the saying. And we are seeing that slowly time and time again. But unfortunately, what needs to happen is that cleansing. The same way that we had the boom and bust of the dot-com era, the same way that we had the Lehman Brothers and 2008 financial collapse, right? With all that, now we're seeing more issues. For example, you have market-making firm Oros defaulted on $7.5 million stablecoin loan that it took from Maple Finance. They filed for bankruptcy protection in the British Virgin Islands last month after losing access to about $20 million of funds that it held on FTX. Maple Finance runs as a decentralized protocol that lets firms access loans without collateral. They join, these other guys. Basically, in a nutshell, this was because of FTX, right? So this is that cleansing. And of course, there is going to be that regulation that comes in. What I'm personally afraid of is that the US has a history of, for example, there's no regulation. And then I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to over-regulation, which I'm not looking forward to. And then I'm sure at some point they'll meet somewhere in the middle, right? And if we have a look at the Coinbase Crypto 2023 Outlook, the key takeaways, which I would like to actually break this down in another video because there's a lot of information in this report. But just to kind of sum it up, I don't want to make today's video too long. They say, we expect digital asset selection will transition towards higher quality names like Bitcoin and Ether based on factors like substantial tokenomics, the maturity of respective ecosystems, and relative market liquidity. We think investors' willingness to accumulate altcoins has been severely impacted by the deleveraging in 2022 and may take many, many months to fully recuperate. We believe that the next market cycle in digital assets will be shaped in significant part by the development of standards and frameworks for regulated entities. And again, as I've been saying, a lot of these altcoins are truthfully at this point, most likely unregulated securities. And while there is no real information, so it's fun to speculate, the majority of the big money, once this regulation comes, the UAE sovereign wealth funds, they're going into Bitcoin. They're allocating 3 to 5%, and they are looking to hold for 20 to 50 to even 100 years. We're talking legacy, generational accumulation and wealth here. They're not going to be buying altcoins on page 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're going to be going to the blue chips, which right now are mainly just Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? That's where most of the speculation, not speculation, that's where most of the trust essentially is at this point, right? And guys, this is nothing new for crypto, right? We have to have these washouts. And with every washout, the space gets better and better, right? We used to have things like literally BitConnect, OneCoin, Plus Token. We had a coin called Ponzi token, okay? And these ideas of the trading bots, bringing people in, layering the Ponzi, whatever, that died. Those ideas totally died, right? We had the Bitfinex issue with Tether. Crypto cloud mining scams, remember those? You don't see those anymore. ICO scams, I guess occasionally people still kind of get sucked into those. My Bitcoin, crypto asset management, and all these other things. And now, adding to that, we have lending platforms, which we should be very wary of. And obviously now these centralized exchanges and really learning to control your own private keys. So every time we have these collapses, the space gets better, right? We learn. You're not seeing the Ponzi coins anymore. You're not seeing the cloud mining coins anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm sure somewhere they're happening, but I mean, you're not seeing people promoting them. You're not seeing people jump into them. You're seeing people realize that, there was one, I forget what exchange it was. They were offering like 56% APY on like Bitcoin. Like how can you do that? How could you possibly pay 50%? That the Bitcoin, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't even make sense because Bitcoin's monetary policy inflation is like what, 3 or 2.5 or 1? I don't even know what it is, but it's definitely like, where would you even get that much Bitcoin from? But anyway, as I said, and it's also hitting the players too. Bitcoin mining giant Core Scientific has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The mining firm's liabilities are estimated between 1 to 10 billion, and they have 1,000 to 5,000 creditors. The company's decision comes after a bearish year that saw crypto prices slump and rising energy prices. This year has also seen Bitcoin mining difficulty at record highs. So again, those that unfortunately, cannot survive or can't make it will be moved out. And by the way, like Pierre Ricard pointed, Texas Bitcoin miners are pushing up energy prices. That's a myth. In reality, Texas has the lowest energy prices in the country. Actually, that's not totally accurate. Washington, Montana, and Oklahoma are the cheapest, but number 4, Texas is pretty close, right? So that's that situation. And, there is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. For example, you're seeing that various political organizations belonging to the Democratic Party have announced that they would return some of these donations from SBF. At least 9.85 million will be sent back by Senate Majority, PAC, House Majority, Democratic National Committee, etc. Bankman-Fried is thought to have contributed more than 46.5 million. So maybe they will get some of these clawbacks and maybe they will return some of this money rightfully so. And I just wanted to end on this story. This is absolutely crazy. So we have Ray, the CEO of Paxful, writing this email saying that they are removing Ethereum from Paxful. I mean, that's crazy. Ethereum is the number 2 crypto in the world, and they're taking it off. They said revenue is nice, but integrity trumps all. Here are the reasons why I'm removing ETH, because it's switched from proof of work to proof of stake. Proof of stake obviously puts a lot of hands in, the individuals. And he says proof of work was the innovation that makes Bitcoin the only honest money there is. ETH is not decentralized. It is controlled by a small group of people. One day you will need permission to use it. And ETH has some utility in real cases. But now he says the tokens that ETH has spawned have been scams that have robbed people of billions. They have stolen valuable momentum away from Bitcoin and cost us years on our mission. Crazy. Can you imagine? I never thought I would ever see an exchange delisting Ethereum. Our industry is under attack right now, which means our responsibility to protect our users is greater than ever before. We're not perfect, but we'll always do the right thing, even if it's not popular, even if it costs us money. The payoff for all humanity will be so great that the billion scammers have stolen via tokens will seem like pennies by comparison. That is nuts, guys. So let me know what you think about that. And of course, once again, I can't stress it. Make sure that you get your coins off the exchange, get them on a ledger. I do have a tutorial for the Ledger Nano X. I'll make a tutorial for the stacks, but I just don't have one yet. Maybe I can reach out. Maybe I'll see if they can send me one. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes, because, content creators, they'll give you one. Maybe I can get one, get early access and show you guys. That'd be really cool. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to reach out to Ledger, see if I can get one of these and show you guys a little bit of exclusive. And obviously, if you guys are looking to trade, don't forget that there is the $18,000 bonuses right now over on BitGet. And if you guys join, you can click the link below, or you can just enter the code NYNL and you'll be eligible for those bonuses. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. I hope you enjoy and have a wonderful day. Let me know. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? How are you feeling? Are you buying? Are you selling? Do you think we're going to go into the worst possible recession, depression we've ever seen? I think maybe we could be relatively close within, I would say, the next few months, possibly at that bottom. And I think at that point we would be on full accumulation mode, and then I definitely think the worst would be behind us. But let me know what you think down below. I love you guys. You're awesome. You're the reason that I make these videos. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.